Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are now. Then I must say sorry for yesterday. Was it yesterday where I forgot to put my little hearts on my delicious babies? Anyway, not to worry, not to worry. And today, even if I was to switch them on, because it's so super duper and deliciously sunny at 2 p.m. in our old England, my delicious babies, you probably won't be able to see them very well, okay? But tomorrow, I'll be back indoors, and then, you'll be able to see my juicy little lads, okay? Because I usually always miss them when they're not around my neck, you know what I mean? My delicious babies. Anyway, so it's a beautiful day today, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I thought I'm going to do my video outside, my delicious babies, and what I want to do is my little birdie house, because she looks ever so worn out. She's still very solid and sturdy, but I've got some special paint, my delicious babies, so I'm going to find myself a paintbrush later on, my delicious little babies, and I'm going to paint her. So she's going to be a nice brown colour, my delicious little babies, okay? And then my beautiful little birdies, my beautiful little squirrels, they'll feel like they've got a brand new little birdie house, do you know what I mean? But it's all got to be cleaned out and everything first. I just thought, well, put them something to eat out now, and then, you know what I mean? So I know that they've eaten. And then I can, get rid of, what I need to, because I'll put fresh in anyway. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? What's happening now? Anyway, I've just sorted out my storage, my delicious little babies. Somebody, somebody's trying to contact me. Don't worry, my delicious little babies. Now then, I'll get back to them. So I've got today I've got 4 pieces of information, my delicious little babies. Now then, and this is quite a mixed bag today, my delicious little babies, okay? So, as you know, I give out information. I enjoy giving out information, my delicious little babies. It's all right, it's just a little bit windy, okay? But anyway, it's a nice wind, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so it's just going everywhere. I'm not going indoors because it's too warm to go indoors. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, my delicious little babies, and that doesn't mean that. And so, yeah, it's very mixed today, my delicious little babies. So I'm going to begin, okay? So the first one, my delicious little babies, is this is okay. Right. I'm going back now. Think about sorry, excuse me. Over 2.5 years ago, it's got to be. Where I actually used to advertise podcast of the Lotus Eaters. Okay, my delicious babies. And I did used to enjoy, with anybody not in that way, and I did used to enjoy, listening to some of the videos, my delicious babies. Okay, so I did, that doesn't mean that. Just my hair's in my bird dress. And I did enjoy listening, to some of the videos, my delicious babies. Well, anyway, this has come up on my feed. And this uploader, these are all on YouTube, my delicious babies. Capital N for Nick. So it's Nick space capital D Dixon. That's the uploader, my delicious babies, on old YouTube. So it should read Nick Dixon. Okay, my delicious babies. Now, he happens to have at the moment 11.8 thousand subscribers. Now, I have seen his birth race. There we are. Before, my delicious babies. This is not somebody who I have not seen their birth race, okay? But it should read his video, and it's 51 minutes something long, my delicious babies. It should read the limits of politics, Josh Firm. Okay, my delicious babies. So I'm just going to repeat that again for you. The limits of politics, Josh Firm. Now then, my delicious babies. So anybody who's ever watched podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you will remember Josh. Okay, my delicious babies, because you got Carl, Josh. Oh, I forgot who else now? Because I haven't watched them for a while, Marvelous Little Babies, okay? Because they do bring up, there we are, some interesting topics. However, they also got demonetized off older YouTube as well. Marvelous Little Babies account. It was just going bang, 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 bang. You know, with so many of them. Do you know what I mean? Marvelous Little Babies. Me myself personally, I do not need to worry about that because, you know, like I said, even if I was offered it, I wouldn't take it. Okay, Marvelous Little Babies, okay? But, you know, for others, I do not blame them. They just want to earn ka-ching, 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 pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change, bless. Really good interview this was. And I must say, I mean, Josh has changed, bless him. You know what I mean? He looked different in this video, Marvelous Little Babies. But it's, I suppose he felt he could only go as far as what he could go. Like, he hasn't fallen out with anybody from, you know, podcasted alertus eaters. No, he hasn't. It's just that he feels that, you know, like he wants to branch out. Do you understand what I mean? Yes, okay. A really good interview to listen to, the Marvelous Little Babies. Now, for some of you who do know Josh Firm, you would maybe already listened to this video, but for others of you Marvelous Little Babies, you would not have done, you know what I mean? But well worth a listen. Yeah, very level-headed indeed. Next one, Marvelous Little Babies. Now then, why am I mentioning this? Okay, so in the old space bar in YouTube, Marvelous Little Babies, this video happens to, is it 8.19 minutes long, Marvelous Little Babies, okay? And it should read capital P, pray, then the number 4, then a capital D, dogs. Okay, Marvelous Little Babies, I prefer them to call, you know, to call them, sorry, my beautiful little sons and daughters, you know what I mean? Anyway, but if you spell it the other way around, it means gods, doesn't it? Okay, Marvelous Little Babies, now then. So it should read, pray for dogs. Okay, Marvelous Little Babies, this upload happens to have 95.8 thousand subscribers, Marvelous Little Babies, like I said, on YouTube. Now then, this should read, tiny puppy frozen by tetanus, stiff as a log. His life changed forever when she held him. Okay, Marvelous Little Babies, so I'm just going to repeat this again for you. See, there we are, I am stumbling here. Okay, Marvelous Little Babies, for a good reason. Tiny puppy, frozen by tetanus, stiff as a log. His life changed forever when she held him. Yes, Marvelous Little Babies, so these are getting ticked off. There we are, as I go along. Do you see what I mean, Marvelous Little Babies? Now then, I have actually mentioned on other videos Marvelous Little Babies from time to time, okay? To do with vets and things like this now then, okay? Now, it's all in the title, tetanus. If you could see this beautiful little, beautiful golden colour, beautiful little puppy, completely solid from having, there we are, a tetanus, Marvelous Little Babies, okay? And in this over 8 minutes long little video, Marvelous Little Babies, you see his beautiful little journey, okay? He does learn to walk in the end, you know. It's been a little journey for him. Do you see what I mean? Well, anyway, that should not be happening, should it, Marvelous Little Babies? A little beautiful little puppy like that shouldn't be frozen solid from a tetanus, Marvelous Little Babies, yes. Anyway, please take a watch of this. Whatever I do, and thank you to any new, bless your beautiful dear little souls, new dear little subscribers, okay? I say little because I mean it in a compassionate and sweet way. I do not mean that you are little, or do you understand what I mean, okay? Anybody who listens very kindly to my videos will know this, okay? So please try not to take offence by it, okay? It's just the way that I am, okay? Anyway, that doesn't mean no. I do this, but whatever I hand out, give out information, there we are, it is for a very good reason. So there's method, there we are, to what I've just said. This is why I do my utmost, like I've said previously, to keep my beautiful little Ruby Tuesday, my beautiful little Maisie Moo out of the vets. I've been like it for years and years and years, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Yes. Okay. I'm just not very trusting. They need to look on the labels. There we are. They need to look on the labels now. You know, what they're giving. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. You can get some nice veterinary nurses or doctors, whatever they're called, who try to do the right thing. But very sadly, if you are in, there we are, a system where you've only been trained one way, do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm just going to leave it like that, my delicious little baby. So, to be perfectly honest, like I said, I mean, with some videos, it's like a one-off where I advertise, okay, my delicious little babies. However, it's always good, super duper wonderful and delicious to see numbers go up. My delicious little babies, there we are. It makes me feel super duper and deliciously happy. Now then, oh, and I'm really pleased to see, you know, the young man yesterday who I advertised my delicious little babies. He's up to over 400. Is it 430 subscribers, my delicious little babies? I did just feel that that's fantastic. Hooray! Do you see what I mean? Okay, and let his numbers continue. I did listen. That doesn't mean no. I did listen to his to do with when he was going through a very difficult time. Yes, that was so sad to hear that. My delicious little babies, how he was feeling. You know, and the thoughts, bless him, that was going through his noddle. Do you understand what I mean? I'm just so pleased now, like I said, there we are, that he's doing his wonderful and delicious, not in that way, not in that way, his wonderful and delicious little videos. Do you know what I mean? Because it'll give him more and more confidence. He'll build, there we are, his numbers. And then everything's going to be, there we are, hunky-dory, tickety-boo, for his dear little self and his dear little wife and his dear little baby and his dear little puppy and his dear little family. Okay, my delicious little babies. So this is super duper delicious. Next one, my delicious little babies. Now then, this one here, how many minutes was that now then? I think it's about, is it about 19 minutes or something like this? This is called capital R in the old space bar, in old YouTube, my delicious little babies. Rescue space capital C, cat, and then capital A, angels. So it should read rescue space cat space angels in the old search engine, my delicious little baby space bar. You know, should anybody wish to have any form of an interest to type it in. They're now up to 28.9 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies. Now, this video should read, a kitten, listen to this, my delicious little babies, asked the owl, be my mum, please. What happened next will warm your heart. Okay, my delicious little babies. So I'm just going to repeat this again for you, shall I? A kitten asked the owl, be my mum, please. What happened next will warm your heart. Yes, my delicious little babies. So there's this little owl. Okay, so, you know, just try to make everything as brief as possible. So this beautiful little owl, and we do not seem to see many of those, do we, my delicious little babies, in old England these days, okay? We haven't done for a long time, unless you got ones where you got the sanctuaries and things like this now then, or maybe they breed the little owls, but you don't see a lot of those, do you, my delicious little babies? Yes. So this beautiful little owl is in a tree, and then it's got a beautiful little kitten, little ginger kitten, and this little ginger kitten is licking the little owl's you know, claws. Okay, but you see at the beginning, this little owl, as sweet as he or she looked, okay, well, I mean, it could be a she, you know, because you know the maternal part was trying to protect, you know, the little kitten. Okay, my delicious little baby. So as sweet as she looked, you know what I mean? It's like if you went to Guinea, she would, you know, her eyes, do you know what I mean? Okay. So then they, to give them some treats to bring them out. So then there was another little kitten, I think, and then there was another little kitten. Anyway, all in this tree, my delicious little babies. Anyway, so they took them all to, to be looked after and everything. And they took the beautiful, because they're all so beautiful, took the beautiful little owl as well, my delicious little babies. So, and then towards the end, that doesn't mean no, the beautiful little owl was reunited with the little kittens. It's so beautiful. What's the point to this video, my delicious? There we are, little babies. I'll tell you what the point is. The point is that you have two completely different. So you got beautiful little baby kittens, and then you got the beautiful little owl. Completely different. Okay? Yet they came together to, again, doesn't mean no, to support one another and to be loving towards one another. Not in that way. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's another one that I've seen where this large crow had dropped on somebody's windowsill a little tiny baby kitten, who really needed a lot of help. Just, dropped the, with his beak, and just dropped the little kitten, Marge, little baby's okay. So what's my point to what I'm saying? You see, I just wish that we could all, there we are, live in a world where everybody just gets along with everybody. Do you know what I mean? If our beautiful nature, beautiful little animals, beautiful little birdies and everything, okay, and creatures great and small, if they can learn to get along with one another, have done for decades, then why, can it not be so, everywhere in the world? My delicious little babies, there's a point to everything that I do, but sometimes I like to bring little animal videos into it, to get ones to, to see something different. Okay, my delicious little babies, that's the reason why I do this, okay? Now, finally, okay, and then I'm going to close my book and we need to go back to where we need to go back to. This uploader happens to have 60.3 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And it's called, now usually I wouldn't even mention this, okay, my delicious little babies, so I would say that this will be a one-off, okay? Capital U, UKIP. Okay, my delicious little babies, just over 3 minutes long, and now I'm going to close my book, so everything's ticked off before I close my book. The uploader's called UKIP, like I said, in your space bar in order. YouTube, my delicious little babies, and the video should read, Nick Tenconi confronts the traitors building a mega mosque in Dalton in Furness. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Nick Tenconi confronts the traitors building a mega mosque in Dalton in Furness. Okay, my delicious little babies, now I'm going to close my book. Right, sorry, excuse me. So I'm just going to have a sip of my fresh grapefruit, fresh ginger, and, well, I never had any oranges, my delicious little babies, at the time, so I've got a orange juice, my delicious little babies. These days, it's so hard to get hold of proper orange juice, my delicious little babies, unless you squeeze the oranges yourself, Please and thank you, down the hatch. Now then, my delicious little babies, so what's this about? So in Cumbria, in the Lake District, sorry, see stumbling here, for good reason. Right, now Cumbria, the Lake District, there we are, is a beautiful place. Me, myself, personally, I have not been there, okay? It's just somewhere where I've just never been. I've never had much call for, for wanting. I just haven't, you know what I mean? I've gone to other places, but not there. But with my dear dad, bless him, and his dear little wife, may she rest in peace, bless. They used to go there rather regularly. Okay, my delicious little babies, and it is a beautiful place. And others who have told me, there we are, who have been over the decades, have also told me how beautiful it is, okay? My dear dad said how beautiful it is, really peaceful and everything, yes. Anyway, my delicious little babies, well, what your man here is doing now then, he's what he feels is he's calling this out because you've got all of the countryside there, Mardlistic babies. Now, for anybody who knows me, anyway, I'm not even going to bother going down that road. You know, what I'm doing is giving out information, and these all, there we are, happen to come up on my feed. So there we are. So that's all I'm doing, Mardlistic babies, okay? But I just wanted to have a quick discuss about this. So you've got all that beautiful greenery, and then directly opposite, because then you got the road, so that there's the what's been built, okay, Mardlistic babies. Then you got the road, the country road, and then you've got the countryside, okay, Mardlistic babies. Now, this is what I have to say. Now, we've had all different churches in our old England for how long? There we are, forever. Okay, you got your new build ones. I mean, come on. I remember years ago, right? Where they were building, you know, a lot of Jehovah's Witness churches, Mardlistic babies, that, you know, just like these little brick buildings. Do you know what I mean? Okay. And even to this day, okay, I've got no problem whatever religion anybody wants to be, Mardlistic babies, okay? That's not my, you know, what I'm talking about here. Okay, Mardlistic babies, anybody can be who they want to be. See if they believe in God or whatever, you know, whoever they want to believe in is entirely up to themselves. For myself, I believe that we are in my own dear giddy God, which is my own dear giddy God within, which means that I am my own saviour. That is what I mean. So if I put God bless or I put something, I mean somebody's own giddy God. That's what I mean, Mardlistic babies, okay? Because we must remember, go back to it again, that we are our own saviours. There we are. Okay, my delicious little babies, yes? So you go back to that time now, and even now, to this day, they come out with a begging bowl. I'm not being nasty, my delicious little babies, okay? But Jehovah's Witnesses can be like this, okay? And I have had, you know, a few run-ins with them, and they have with myself. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, so I'm just, there we are, just done telling it the way it is. Okay, I do not believe that they should be coming to anybody's door. Okay, and I remember from when I was a wee young lass. Okay, and they put the foot in the door. I said it on one of my videos. Okay, way back, months and months and months and months back, a few years ago now. And I think I was about 11, something like that. Anyway, I was only very young. And they put the foot in the door. They said, well, did Jesus Christ say that he wasn't interested? Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like that at all. I was actually brought up, there we are, to be most polite. Do you see what I mean? Okay? But this is what they're like. So if you look at that, just like Scientology, just like anything like this now then, right, there's a lot more to it, okay? And I happen to know, there we are, a fair bit to do with the Jehovah's Witnesses. But it was only so many years ago, my delicious babies, that they were at this crack building Jehovah's Witnesses, these brick buildings, and a lot of them were that doesn't mean no, were red brick. Okay, my delicious babies, I remember it, there we are, very well. Okay, my delicious babies. Now you've got older churches, haven't you? And you usually find with the older churches, you know, if it's like a Christian or Catholic or something like this now then, 9 times out of 10, I remember it long time. It was in our Brummie Town Centre for decades, and other places up where I live here, up in the nearest little shopping centre. I remember not so many years back now then, that doesn't mean no, where they had the scaffolding up there, always out with a begging bowl. My delicious babies, do you see what I mean, okay? So this one that's been put there now, and I remember when the mosque, from when I was little, there's a place called Hargate. Okay, my delicious little babies, kind there's a massive mosque there. That's been there for decades, you know, as long as I can, that we all remember. Okay? Now, clearly, it's not sitting correct from what I was listening to this very shorty video. It's not sitting well with some residents who happen to live in this area, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay? What's my point to it all? Yes, a church, like I say again, you know, and you've got synagogues. You don't see so many of those, okay? And you do not see so many evangelists. You do not see so many of those either, my delicious little babies, okay? And according to myself, I don't think you see so many, what's it called? What's that other one? Orthodox churches. I don't see a lot of those either, my delicious little babies, okay? But what's my point to what I'm saying? You see, yes, ones will go there to pray. Let's not forget about the old pandemic, my delicious little babies, when these so-called, very holy and kind churches, okay, actually shut their doors to their populations. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? We must not ever forget that. Never ever forget. Okay, my delicious little babies. Just wanted to slip that one in. That as well as praying, there's a lot more that the churches are used. There we are. That are used for my delicious little babies. Now I happen, there we are, again, to know about this, my delicious little babies, okay? So my only question would be, well, why are they doing it, building it there? Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, you can understand if it's like in cities or something like this now, but it would be very interesting to know why that location. There we are. That's all. But like I said, I shouldn't even have to say this. And anyway, I'm just not going to be done saying it anyway. Anybody who knows me knows me. Do you know what I mean? So I don't need to be done saying anything on my camera. My delicious little babies, okay? But so I'm not shouting at you, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? But anyway, you know, anybody who truly knows myself knows that I'm nothing of the kind. It's just I'm just talking about the video. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? But of course, ones, should remember that many of these places, different churches, there is a certain level, there we are, of corruption. And ka-ching, there we are, passing hands. Do you see what I mean? My delicious little babies, from the left to the right. Do you see? There we are. Do you see what I'm saying to you? Yes. Okay, so there's definitely something going on. I personally, this is the first I've heard of it. My delicious little babies, okay? It's just, I would have said it was it's not the usual place that you'd find a mosque. My delicious little babies, you know what I mean? It appears to be rather a large mosque. Okay, my delicious little babies, so... But that's what I want to say. Oh, that's something else. So I was listening to our lovely, not in that way, our lovely mornings with Mel K on Rumble. My delicious little babies. I usually go through DuckDuckGo, then just type it in there, okay? Then our little Mel, bless her, and her dear little self and her dear little partner, Rob, they do their little shares, bless them. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's just so lovely. I love to see all the couples doing. It's like our lovely not in that way, our lovely redacted, on old YouTube. That's a really good video that they put up this morning, my delicious little babies. This is to do with it's over an hour long, and it's to do with Israel. My delicious little babies, and about a couple with their little babies who came out of Israel. Okay, my delicious little babies, the kind that have their own website and everything. But that's a really interesting conversation to listen to. See, I will listen to it. You see, for myself, I just stay the best way I can, as neutral as possible, because like I've said before, and I'm done saying it again, there's only one who benefits. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, from playing, ones off from each other, and very sadly in very dangerous ways. Okay, my delicious little babies, where these poor soldiers, they lose their lives. Okay, and some of them are that indoctrinated and brainwashed to do the most terrible things. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay, but still, you would never ever hear myself say pray for them. No, cut through the bullshit. There we are. Tell it the way it is. I don't pray for nobody like that now then. Do you see what I mean? Especially when they do disgusting and putrid acts. Okay, Marzlichtig babies. So, and that would mean, okay, Marzlichtig babies. Let's get back to our lovely Mornings with Mal Care Rumble, Marzlichtig babies. I was listening to a video, okay, because I listen to her very regularly. Her beautiful little self, not in that way, not in that way, and her dear little partner, Rob, okay. So I listen to them regular. A really good duo together, okay. Mads, little babies, like, they're all so lovely. Like our lovely Redacted, lovely little Natalie, and dear little Clayton, okay. Then you got our lovely on YouTube, Mads, little babies. I think Richard Verbs, he's on Rumble, I think, as well, he said. Our lovely Not in That Way, Not in That Way, our lovely little Julia and dear Richard Verbs on YouTube, Mads, little babies, okay? So there's plenty, to listen to. And they're lovely because they're couples. Do you understand what I mean? And they get on, there we are, super duper, there we are, and deliciously well. And that's how it should be, my delicious babies. I just think more couples should do that, you know what I mean? Do videos together. Anyway, that's just my thoughts, my delicious babies. Anyway, and towards the end of the video, listen to this, my delicious babies. Now, for some of you, you may know about this, but for others of you, you may not know about this. This is the first I've heard. Because you see, my daughters now, they're grown up. Guys, they're grown up. But if they were little, I certainly would not be buying one of those dolls, my delicious babies. And when I was listening, it took myself back to decades ago. Decades. And I remember, so please don't take this offensively, what I'm going to sing now, okay? It's just, it came smack bang straight in front of my Bertres. I can remember when I was little, I can remember, and they used to sing, what is it? Jesus Christ, superstar, wears thrilly knickers and a Playtex bra. Yeah, my delicious babies, and there we are, all those days. It's just something triggered it in me. You know, when you forget things over the decades, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? But it flipping comes straight back to me like that now. Then I thought, when I do my video today, I'm going to tell you, so it's Jesus Christ, superstar, wears thrilly knickers and a Playtex bra. And I remember that from when I was really little like this. I don't know who sang it now. I can't remember now. But you know what I mean? But, yeah. Just came back to me. Look at that. These Barbie dolls is what our lovely dear little Mal, she's up to 191,000 subscribers. My delicious little babies is a lovely self and a dear little partner, Rob, okay? Let's, see those numbers. Please and thank you. Moving on up. Okay, my delicious little babies now then. Please and thank you once again. Well, I mean, these Barbie dolls now. I mean, this is sickening, man. And they're making them by the flipping lorry loads. She showed the little video, my delicious little babies. Okay, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody wants to live the way they do, okay, well, apart from some putrid who should not have a place in society, and the type I'm talking about, my delicious babies. No, they should not. That's just my feelings. And actually, there are millions of others, my delicious babies. But then just live and let live, isn't it? But don't put your shart, there we are, onto others. So if a man wants to wear a wig, like a blonde wig, because that's what he was wearing, right? Oh, yeah, it's so lovely. Do you know what I mean? If they want to be that way, be like it, rewind and start again. We've been stumbling here, rightfully, sir. Be done doing it behind closed doors. But this is he helping to promote these type of Barbie dolls, my delicious babies. And what's even worse is that you are going to have some mummies out there, daddies out there, okay, because this is a level of brainwashing, my delicious babies, okay, in the world. I'm not talking about all mummies and daddies, okay, no, I'm not. But there seems to be, there we are, certain who go, oh, this is so lovely. Oh, let's buy one for Crimber. You know, the fake Crimber Mardelicious babies. Let's buy one for Crimber. Let's buy one for the birthday. Do you see what I mean, Mardelicious babies? Okay, without seeing what there we are. This is really about, which is very sadly programming the little bairns, bless them, in not the right direction, Mardelicious babies. Okay. So anyway, I just thought, you know what, it's sick in the head, man. That's the way I see it, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Okay, you need to see it to believe it, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? But of course, I'm not up on it all, like I said, because my daughters now are all grown up. Do you understand what I mean? So you know, but I certainly would not be buying anything like that, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? But I just thought I'd tell you. But I didn't mean to offend anybody by what I sang there. I didn't. It's just it really took it back. So even if we go back to even when I was little, say 10 or 11, when I heard it sang, like I said, I cannot remember who sang it. I can't remember now. I just remember the song like it was yesterday. But yeah, it's taken decades for me to even mention it. Do you know what I mean? It must have been right at the back of my noddle. But so I did not mean it offensively. But if you look at it, there must have been, there we are, something going on there then, mustn't there? Because why would another little bairn come out and sing Jesus Christ Superstar, wears thrilling knickers and a Playtex bra? Okay, my delicious little babies, just wondering, just, you know, scratching my head. Do you see what I mean? My delicious little babies, yes. Anyway, so that's the end of my video, my little beautifuls, okay? So now, you know, like I said, you know, I'm not here to hurt, offend, or upset anybody. I'm never here to do that. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay, all I do, there we are, just give out the information. It's just very interesting, that's all. But like I said, but for the majority, you know, who do know, but you still got many others who still go to church on a Sunday or whatever they're done doing now. Do you know what I mean? And they wouldn't dream in a million years that the churches could be, there we are, ka-ching, 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 corrupt now. Do you see what I mean? Because we've got to remember that certain, you know, who launder, there we are usually hiding behind something else. Do you see what I mean? There we are. My delicious babies, yes. Anyway, so thank you so very much for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments, okay? And with the occasional comments, I will always answer, okay? My delicious little babies, okay? It's just that this information is important to get out. This is, for myself, more important, but this is not directed at anybody's nationality or anything like that now then, and I shouldn't even have to say it, so I'm just going to stop myself there, okay? So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you, and may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families all be fully protected. What we're going to do, good vibrations. Okay, my delicious babies, kind. But yeah, so that's all I've got to say for today, my delicious little babies. I feel actually, there we are, I've said quite enough for today, my delicious little babies, okay? So I'm going to enjoy this beautiful and delicious, there we are, sunshine. Okay, my delicious little babies, how I love you all so. Please take care of yourselves now, and please try to take care of others, okay? And, you know, what can I really say? You know, we are in a bonkers, crackers and crazy world at the moment, but we have to also see, there we are, the beauty in other things now. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Because certain just want us to be flipping damn well miserable all the time, you know what I mean? But we're not going to be. It's like I said yesterday, you know, choose a little hobby or choose something, or do, you know what I mean? If ever you know, start to feel down in some way, you could, you know, could be anybody blessed, you know what I mean? But, you know, just try to find something, there we are, where to your heart, it warms your little heart. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes? Okay? So much love, and I hope that life, wherever you are in the world, and the weather is treating you most deliciously. I'm going to make the most of this now, Mars. Babies, okay? So you just take care. Love ya. Goodbye.